Yeah, so I'm the founder and CEO of Kayzen. What does Kayzen do? We're a mobile DSP, we're a self-serve first DSP, and we're a performance DSP. And I would say we're probably the only mobile DSP that has a real self-serve offering. But you do not have to use the self-serve offering. We also have a managed service on top of that. So some of the customers use the self-serve offering, some of them use our team to manage campaigns for them. And I've been in the mobile industry, yeah, as Ophir said, I think the first time we had the conference in 2013 or 2012, yeah, 2013, for a long time, and I love it. There's a lot of innovation, and what I want to talk about today is some of the innovation that is happening. And this is how we use interactive experiences combined with video ads to create smart ad sequences that we call custom ad journeys. So yeah, video ads, I think we all know how video ads look in apps, and I will show that visually on the next slide. What we do is we create interaction experiences in the end card, and then we use the data points that we can collect from users on how they interact with the ads, both the video and the interaction, to create sequences that are tailored to specific clusters of customers. And all of this happens before the customer ever visited the landing page or the website or the app of our advertisers. Yeah, so here is an example of an app that shows ads, Duolingo, and there are basically two types of video ads that publishers show in their apps, interstitials and rewarded. Interstitials are typically skippable after around 5 seconds, where rewarded video ads are only skippable after 30 seconds. If the ad is not longer than 30 seconds, they're effectively not skippable. So those are the two types of ads where we run these Video Plus experiences on. And then we layer an interactive experience. This here, for example, is a gamified experience for a brand called Manico Nails. Manico Nails is a Shopify shop, a typical direct-to-consumer brand, and they are selling adhesive nail polish. So what we're trying to do first is to create some type of like attention for the brand and the product to kind of stand out of the noise of users seeing like tens and sometimes hundreds of ads a day. And what I'm going to show on the next slides is how we use data in these ads to create like the custom ad journeys. And it's important to understand there's two types of data that we can collect from these ads or from how users interact with them. The first, the obvious ones, are active signals. So an active signal is if a user, for example, dragged something on this app, on this ad here. But an active signal can also be if a user chose to skip the video once the skip button was available. So if you know when the skip button is available and you know that the user has skipped the video, you have a signal that the user tells you, this may not be interesting for me. So why waste money showing this user more and more ads if you already know that the user may not be interested? On the other end, you also have passive ad signals or passive interaction signals. And passive signals are, what did the user not choose to do? So if you, for example, again, run a video ad and the user does watch it all the way to the end while they had the possibility to skip before, they also tell you something. They tell you perhaps that they're more or less interested in what they see. Of course, they could also put the phone to the side and just let it go. You never know that, but at least it gives you some signal that you can work with. And this is exactly what we're doing. So we're trying first in the classical marketing funnel. I think we've seen that from TikTok now. They also talked about full funnel. This is basically a full funnel solution for the open web, for the open app internet. Where first on the awareness stage, we're just trying to catch users' attention, and we don't have any information about those users. Unless we have previous data about them, like every user is the same for us. We may have some contextual signals, but typically we know very little about them. But once we have collected first interaction data with those ads, we can determine which user we consider moving forward to a consideration stage, where we think that they may have some interest in the product that is advertised. And this is important because 90% of the users are not going to be interested in what you want to show them. So you can leave them out for the following ad sequences, and you don't need to waste any ad budget on them on the second, third, fifth, etc. impression. So you focus only on those that give you some signal of we're interested. And now you try to actively collect data that is user declared, that is data that the user gives you. And I'll show you in a minute how. And at the end of the funnel, of course, you're trying to trigger some action. You're going to yeah, try to create some urgency or incentive for the user to do the conversion you want them to do. In the case of Manico Nails, the conversion is a purchase. If a user buys the product, that's what they want. Yeah, so as I said, in stage one, we're casting a wide net. In this example, we're doing this with a more playful experience, but also with just an informative experience that the user can scroll through. And once we've determined which users are likely to be interested in the product, we move to the next stage. And here it's interesting, or here's important that we collect user-declared information. I have a QR code here, so if you want to scan that, you will see a similar ad experience opening in the browser. And in this specific case, we're using a quiz. And in this quiz, the user can give us certain information that we can use to categorize the users in the later stages. So in how that looks like concretely, and I realized, okay, this ad is actually translated to English, good, because the original campaign was running in Germany. But since it has a nail polish, the product, what we're asking the user first is, when they do their nails, are they actually doing it in a studio, or are they doing it at home? Why is this important? Because the reasons somebody will use Manico Nails product differ greatly by what the current status quo is. A user who goes to a studio, they're typically paying a lot of money to get their nails done. So price sensitivity may not be an argument, but saving time may be an argument, or being able to do your nails while you're traveling may be an argument. Whereas users that do nail polish at home are typically, or could be users that are price sensitive, because that's probably the cheapest option how you can get your nails done, by doing it yourself. And there is other data points that we collect, and based on all this, the sequence is informed. So the first ad that everyone sees may still be the same, but the second, third, and fifth ad that users see differ then by which kind of cluster they are categorized into. How may that look at the last stage of the funnel? As I said earlier, some users that are going to a nail salon may not be price sensitive. Users that are doing nails at home may be. So for example, in the last stage of the last step of the sequence, we may show things like coupon codes only to users that we do believe are price sensitive, to maximize the LTV for Manico Nails, because why would they give coupons to users that are willing to pay the full price? They have a much better margin than on those users, and they don't want to educate users to think about, I can get a coupon, if you don't have to make them convert. Yeah. How did the results look like? By the way, the presentation is from a talk that I gave at another conference in the US, together with the founder of Manico Nails. He's not here today, so I'll speak on his behalf. The results we have seen in this specific case were that first Video Plus, as we call this ad experience, was the best performing ad experience for the customer among all channels, and this includes social channels for new customer acquisition. So that's the keyword. Because it's a full funnel solution, we're aiming to find new users or new customers for the advertiser, and not just target people that may already have a high awareness for the brand. This is reflected in the second point. 19 out of 20 customers that they acquired through these campaigns are actually net new customers. This means they've never been on their website before. And we are able to get a decent scale, even though we, of course, narrow down the targeting over time, with about 10 million ad impressions per month. To give you an idea, because this campaign runs in German-speaking markets, there's about 100 million people across Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. So 10 million impressions is a decent scale. If you have 2 or 3 impressions per user per month, you're reaching still like 2 to 3 million people. Of course, compared to the population, it's still just a fraction of that, but it is a decent scale. Yeah, I want to come to why does in-app inventory specifically offer itself to be a good canvas for these ad sequencing and custom ad journey strategies. And I have a few reasons to share why I believe it is actually a good thing in-app, while it may not be a good thing on the web, on the classical like browser web. So the first thing is users tend to come back to the apps they use frequently over and over. So when you're playing a game or you're using Duolingo, you're not like on a website, you could go there once and then probably like in a month later you come back to the same website. On apps, typically users have a usage behavior that they come back like twice, 3 times a week, sometimes every day, especially in the gaming space, it could be every day. So you have a high, or users have a high DAU, daily active user to MAU, monthly active user ratio. That's important because this allows you to create sequences that you're reaching the same users within a few days, one after the other ad, and not like weeks later. The second thing is it's privacy compliant. That may be a bit counterintuitive, but it is privacy compliant because we do not need to get the user device ID to track them across many apps. It is sufficient if the same user goes back to use Duolingo over and over again, like in this example, and we reach them within this app. That is totally sufficient. And lastly, yeah, there is massive scale. We see like the inventory scale that we have for in-app video ads is more than 1 billion users a month across the globe, and this excludes China. So yeah, it's a very, very large reach. It's probably not much less than the very large social networks have. Of course, this is inventory from probably 400,000 different apps. So this is how you get the reach. Yeah, I've spoken a lot about the nail polish, and this is specifically an e-commerce use case, not an app use case, but there is, of course, a lot of other use cases that use these Video Plus ads. So I just wanted to show a few examples. This is not an app as well. This is a commerce product. It's a fitness watch. They created a Video Plus read experience where they layer an advertorial experience to the video ad unit. So users like read an article and then after that decide if they want to buy the product or not. There is another Video Plus read experience from The Economist, which is actually an app campaign where The Economist is looking for paid subscribers for their app. And this is probably my favorite one. We call that Video Plus Chat. So we're combining a chat interactive experience with the video. And chat is cool because of a couple of reasons. First, it's easy to customize. So you don't need like a massive creative ideation process to customize a chat flow. You usually can customize it based on your existing funnel. The second reason is you can get user input like in a quiz or in a forum by just asking the user questions and giving them default answers. So you can collect a lot of information about the user that you can use in the ad sequences later on. And the third, where we're still in the very beginning, but that may be something interesting down the road, is of course it fits well into the current trend of generative AI, and potentially in the future, like the chat interaction that you have on the ad unit could be powered by a Gen AI model. So it can become very, very adaptive to the user interaction. Yeah, here is a quiz example. I think we've looked at one quiz example for Maniko, so I don't need to dive into this. This is for a supplement product. And yeah, of course, it also works for gaming. You can also get information about like the profile of the gamer before they even make the download, and then tailor like ad sequences to them in the following impressions that you serve. So yeah, that's it from my side. I hope you learned something new.